We all know that Paradox games are riddled with bugs. Some of them may ruin your fun from the game, but some can help you significantly in your struggles. And today, we are going to talk about these kinds of problems, often called exploits. And let's begin with a classic one, which is known as Order 66. Normally, in your Hearts of Iron gameplay, when you declare war on a country in which you station your troops, for example thanks to the military access, your divisions will magically teleport back to your capital. But if you instead declare war on a country that your target country guarantees the independence of, then, when the target country joins the war against you, your units won't be teleported away, and you will instantly conquer their land. And if you garrison enough of their victory points, then the war will end basically instantly. It was common to use this method against Italy playing as Japan, for example, because Italians would give you military access instantly at the start of the game, and they also guarantee independence of Albania, so they are the perfect target for that exploit. Sadly, this cheese was removed a few patches ago, but you can still revert to patch 1.12.14 and try it for yourself. Okay, let's talk about some newer exploit now, which was still in the game at the time of the recording, and this exploit applies to planes. In Hearts of Iron 4, we have a mechanic known as air mission efficiency. This efficiency relies on many different factors, such as fuel availability, mission region coverage by planes range, and airfield overcrowding. Overall, it should work in the way that as the efficiency gets lower, so does the damage done by the planes. But in case of the CAS planes, Mr. Paradox broke something within their spaghetti code, and they can do a lot more damage while having lower efficiency. It works like that because efficiency lowers the amount of planes from the single airwing capable of taking part in a mission, so that it allows for more airwings to participate in single combat. And despite lower amount of planes taking part in a mission, the damage per wing stays the same. This is an exploit that allows us to do some funny things, although I think that in the history of Hearts of Iron 4 we had at least one significantly bigger exploit. And this exploit is tank printing. It came into being right after the release of No Step Back DLC, and it happened due to introduction of Tank Designer. It turned out that if you created 2 copies of certain tank design without changing anything, then set both of them as decommissioned, and then start producing those copies at least at a pace of 1 piece a day, then you could start converting these decommissioned designs into the original tank that we didn't set as decommissioned. For some reason, the conversion only subtracted tanks from one of the decommissioned models, so the other model could act as literally limitless supply of tanks to convert. And since converting equipment is significantly cheaper than creating new one, it allowed us to really easily skyrocket our tank production, especially after we researched tech speeding up the conversion. Of course, this bug was patched a long time ago, but you can still enjoy it if you roll back to version 1.12.14. Well, now let's put these overproduced tanks to good use. I couldn't really make a video about Hearts of Iron 4 exploits without talking about Space Marines. It is quite well known exploit by this point, and to perform it, you just have to put 1 battalion of tanks into your infantry template, and if your tanks have sufficient armor, the enemy won't be able to pierce the armor of your divisions, thus granting you 50% damage reduction. It's powerful and not super expensive, and because of that, it is surprisingly available even for minor nations. Speaking of minor nations, there is also other exploit that can be used while playing as them. I'm talking of course about stealing manpower from your subjects. In Hearts of Iron 4, if you have a puppet under your control, you can create division templates that will use manpower from your puppet instead of you. Normally, if you disband this type of division, the manpower will go back to the subject. But if in the meantime the subject disappeared because, I don't know, you annexed it, the manpower will go to your pool instead. So, playing as the Netherlands for example, you can spam out a lot of small divisions using manpower from Dutch East Indies then change the template of these divisions to a much bigger one to suck all of their manpower, and then annex duchies in this, and then disband those divisions. Congratulations! Now you have 1.6 million manpower as the Dutch. Now, to relax a bit, let's talk about a smaller exploit, although still quite a powerful one. In this game, if you assign a general to an army, you gain access to abilities that this army can use. One of these abilities, for example, gives your army a bonus to attack. So far so good, everything seems right. You activate the ability, then the ability is on cooldown, so you must wait a bit before using it again. But what if you assign a new general to this army right after using the ability? Well, it turns out that you can use it again, and again, and again, and again. Okay, I guess you get the point now, right? Plus 400% attack can be extremely useful to push some choke points. Finally, let's talk about one more interesting exploit. This one took advantage of how the AI behaved during the old version of peace conferences, and I'm talking of course about shadow puppeting, exploit most likely found by Tauror, who used it in many of his videos. It works like this. In the old version of peace conferences, democratic countries mainly wanted to change regimes, and communist countries usually wanted to puppet defeated states. This system would work pretty well, but if any other country already created a puppet of a defeated nation, then the other countries from the winning side couldn't change the regime of the country or puppet it. In addition to this, if you selected an option to take all states, then selected option to create a puppet, and then unselected the option to take all states, you could submit for free the demand to create a non-existing puppet. And although your puppet didn't physically exist, it still blocked the ability of other countries to change regimes and taking puppets. So the effect was that even if you had basically no war score, you could still take great amount of land from the peace deals. The bugs and exploits presented in this video are of course not all the exploits that exist within Hearts of Iron 4. In case of games as complex as Hearts of Iron 4, or other Paradox Grand strategy games for that matter, it is basically impossible to avoid these types of mistakes. They will happen, so there is a significant chance that I will cover more of those in future videos. Anyways, thanks you for watching and see you next time.